I'm the superintendent of Eminence Independent Schools, and I want to give you a 5-minute overview of the School on Fire and my vision for the future of schools. I'll tell you, the more I've gotten into this innovation experience and immersion, the more I've realized there's honestly two types of educators. And better than I could ever sum it up are these two video clips. The first type of educator reminds me more of this than anything else. Those folks are reluctant. They want work to go about as normal. They're happy with the status quo and the way the system is, and they're not really looking for a change. They're not looking to more personalized instruction and to really maximize the potential of schools. And I'm going to be honest, I find myself more in this shift, in this frame of mind. My favorite part about this penguin is he tries to get all the other penguins fired up, and nobody will ever give him the time of day to do so. You know, as I've gone down this path of innovation here at Eminence, I know that everywhere that I turn, they say, what is the tool? What is the device? What is the mechanism that I should buy to implement next generation learning? And I'm going to tell you that there are two tools that I tell them every time that are essential and are necessary in terms of making innovation maximize, making learning personalized. And those two tools are the fact that you have to have a passion and you have to have a purpose. It's not about computers, it's not about technology, it's about, do you have a passion to personalize instruction for your students, and do you have a purpose for it? Do you have a vision of what next generation skills can and will do for our students? We want our students to be equipped with skills that will allow them to invent and create and design, that will allow them to innovate, that will allow them to take learning and apply it and use it. And we want that to be down for every single student every day. We want to make sure that every kid's instruction is almost personalized like a prescription would from a doctor. And so in order to do that, it requires us to start to think differently. In order for us to start to think differently, we've got to break free from the Ford model of instruction, the factory model of instruction. Why is school 9 months? Why is it from 8 to 3? Why do we have to go to class for math for an hour? What if we need 2? What if English we only need a half an hour? How do we embed authentic project-based learning? How do we do student engagement, student voice? How do we build those factors into the framework that is schools as we know it today? And I'll tell you that there are lots of models out there. There's New Tech High, there's High Tech High, there's Carpe Diem, Castle Group out of Lexington, San Francisco Flex Academy, School of One, the Metro University. Those are just to name the few. But what I will tell you is that at Eminence, none of those models were exactly what we wanted. There was a need for Eminence to be Eminence and to use innovation and personalization the way that it would meet our students' needs best. And so we designed the School on Fire. It's the framework of innovation for reinventing education. We didn't want a Band-Aid fix. We wanted to recreate. We wanted to just redesign from the floor up. And for us, that started with students, interviewing students and parents and the community and holding forums and starting to have that dialogue. And that lasted almost a year. In the midst of that process, we came out with 4 main pillars. At the foundation of everything we do is a mastery model for college and career readiness. Every kid mastering every standard. At the heart of what we do is student agency, where we get student voice. We find out how they learn best. We create a rich student model. We cater the lessons and the instruction exactly down to the student level need. And also, what we think will separate us from everybody else is we're going to equip the most innovative school in America in terms of design thinking, in terms of project-based learning, in terms of authentic engagement, in terms of flexibility, in terms of next generation skills. And then what we want is throughout our entire organization is an element of surprise and delight. We want school to be fun. We want kids not to ever want to go home in the afternoon. We want learning to be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, for there to be opportunities for our kids to have those authentic engagements. Some of the ways we're doing that is through the exemplars of eminence excellence. So for every grade level, K through 12, K 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way through, we've set a standard of excellence. What does it mean for an eminent student to be truly excellent? We've divided that into world-class knowledge and skills, college and career readiness, and next generation skills. So in order to get out of kindergarten even, they have to be able to create digital audio books. They have to be able to video conference. They're going to have to start to be able to create presentations, to deliver content. And so those things are embedded into the core. That's not a computer class. That's not a technology unit for 45 minutes a week. That's every day. Those skills are being embedded and into the world-class knowledge and skills, into the Common Core, into our College and Career Readiness Index. And so we've defined those for every grade level. They're going to have to do a panel dissertation in kindergarten, 5th grade, 8th grade, 12th grade in order to even exit those checkpoints for graduation. We've also gone and we believe to have the first school district in America where students will be going and sitting on the site-based councils to actually have a vote in governing their schools in order to make that true, authentic voice. Imagine student representatives that are going to be going and deciding curricular decisions, investment decisions, budgetary decisions. That's at elementary, middle, and high school. There'll be elementary voting site-based members. We've also created the SPARK teams, the student parent advisor readiness consultation teams, and those folks are going to be taking the entire student, the entire it's a goal checking, a progress monitoring, an engagement builder where they'll be setting up internships, they'll be setting up college visits, they'll be setting up project-based learning and monitoring that. We've got philanthropic causes built in at every grade level. Even in kindergarten, they'll be doing community service hours, and all of that will go to contribute to the rich student model. We believe kids are a lot more than a number and a piece of data, and so rather than just going and having a data stream of numbers and tracking their end of course testing and their K-prep, what we've decided to do is we want to monitor the entire student. What interests them? How are they growing? How do they learn best? Where do they struggle most? Getting different types of learning preferences, 21st century skills, where are they at with those? Looking at their clubs and their test data, their learning styles, and building this student DNA, which for us is a digital narrative album. Students, parents, and teachers will all have the ability to edit that cloud-based application, to be able to track it, to monitor it, and it'll travel with that student from grade to grade so the teachers immediately from day one know exactly how and what makes the students most efficient and most engaged. And you know, we want to redesign the whole experience. We think PDs should model that, and so we believe that our PDs should be led by kids. We went from having 5% of our staff using their brand new laptop one-to-one initiative. We had 5% of our staff doing it. We had a 9-year-old lead 3 hours of professional development, and within 10 business days, we had 85% of our of our faculty using the devices. That was a turning point for us. It was February the 20th of 2012, and we've never looked back since then. We created the first Wi-Fi school bus. We believe in anytime, anywhere learning. We believe student learning shouldn't just stop because they climbed on the bus at school or heading to a field trip or their early college experience. We want classrooms to be engaged and collaborative. We want it to be virtual and blended and flipped. We want our assemblies to be, even every moment that a student is in our building, we want them engaged, we want them interacting, we want them contributing, we want them creating. Imagine being a guest speaker in front of our student body while they're fact-checking you, while they're having back-channel dialogues, while they're going and creating collaborative note-taking opportunities for it. Imagine PDs and classes that meet in the mall, that meet on the job site, that meet at the architectural firm, that meet at the zoo, and they're never stop learning, this constant 24-hour mindset of always being plugged in to the instructional experience. Early college initiatives that begin as early as the freshman year, kids earning associate's degrees and bachelor's degrees and even some of those being online learning, maybe taking a Stanford class virtually, maybe that's going to Bellarmine and sitting in college classes and actually getting a degree from them. That's us taking our students to the Apple Store to create the first ever public school business partnership with Apple Business, where they use the one-to-one services and students can go anytime on their own to have that direct training in the store. It's PDs where you go and head to Kosser Children's Hospital and you interview them. How do you test and prod and poke on kids, and yet you create this such a rich experience that even cancer patients hate to leave you? You know, they say you can't monitor student growth and progress and have a fun learning environment, and yet Kosser's Hospital does it every day. So take your staff down there, find out, give every kid a 6-foot teddy bear, and yet ask them, what has Kosser's done to make that experience more rich? Math fraction tests that are making pizzas, you know, where it's hands-on and it's a rich learning. Our map data has shown that since we've started doing these type activities, even with fractions, say, our scores have never been higher. Kids that are doing online self-paced personalized lessons where a teacher can only be one person with one group of kids, everybody being able to work at their own pace, at their own spot for interventions, connections, and enrichments. Creating our own technology that we're trying to patent, such as our Furnace Learning Lab, where teachers can interact in multiple ways, analyzing student data, providing lesson plans, to where that was a prototype, and now every single booth in our cafeteria is equipped as a next generation collaborative table. We could not afford to have a next generation learning lab and a cafeteria expansion, so we yes anded, and we created both in one. That's just a snapshot of what all that's going on at Eminence. And so I will say this, is that the more we learn to personalize, the better that we get at implementing those authentic, engaged experiences for our students. It's when the fire will really start to spread, and it's my passion to make sure that everybody knows you can't stop the fire.